My name is Damien Fahrenfort, I'm 23 years old and I'm born in Cape Town, South Africa and now living in Newport Beach. I think the first time I ever stood up on a board was when I was like 7 years old. My gran used to take me, she used to fetch me from school every Tuesday and take me down the beach, and she used to have a boogie board and I just like boogie board, and then I guess it's pretty cool, she got a photo of the first time I ever stood up on a wave. She was just standing in the shore rack and I stood up and she snapped a photo and showed my dad. My dad was like, hey, maybe he wants to surf. My first sponsor when I was 11 years old, I won like the nationals at home, and then I actually asked Billabong when I was young and they were like, no, you're too young and too small. And then another company, Hot Buttered, sponsored me. They used to be around, and then they went bankrupt and Billabong sponsored me and now Rusty. You know, I've been traveling since I was young, so I stayed with my parents till I was 16 and then I moved out of home. You know, they've always been super supportive, and my dad moved up to Durban to help me in that, and I moved to America like a year ago now. And I wasn't really on my own. I had like a couple of really good friends here to help me out along the way, but you know, in a way I was like no one again. I just started building my profile and that. So, I mean, I just wish I'd moved here when I was younger, you know. American kids get sponsored from when they're 6, but in South Africa it's a bit different because the surf industry is smaller. So, you know, I was competing and I was doing well in the local events at home and doing the juniors, and I went overseas. I went to Bali when I was 13 for the first time, and people were like pretty stoked on me, and I was pretty young because I like to surf big waves. But I went when I was like 17 to France for this WQS event, which is a World Qualifying Series event with a bunch of the older guys, and I got like 5th or something, and I was like, whoa, I can do this. I've always had friends which have pushed me the most. There's always been like, you know, the guys like Kelly Slater and Andy Irons and all those guys that are older than us, but mainly the friends. You know, I have all my friends around me, Ricky Baz and Jordy Smith, and you know, some of them have gone on to be CT and World Championship surfers, so they've always pushed me the most. And obviously, you know, my dad got me into surfing and encouraged me the most, and so him, and then just a couple of old dudes from home. Surfing against Kelly's unreal. You couldn't compare to surfing against anyone else. I had a man-on-man heat with him at J Bay. I was lucky enough to get the wild card into the World Championship Tour event there, and the waves are firing. It's like as good as waves get, and you know, I have like thousands of people on the beach all supporting me, all my home crowd, and I kind of got like a first good wave, like a really good one. Andy Irons and him, like who was competing with him at the time, they were like head and head for the world title. And he came up to me, gave me some like advice. He's like, just drop a bomb on him from the beginning. And I had a pretty good first wave, and I just remember I was like pulling off, thinking, maybe I can pull this one off. I could have this one. I just need to get a good one. And as I looked over, I just seen him get like the best wave ever. I was like, what was I thinking? I had no chance from the beginning. Even though he had me like comboed and dominated me, he was still pretty serious. And then towards the end, he was like, we're chatting and trading off waves, but you know, it's something that most people will never get to do, so it's pretty cool. You know, well, I've grown up with Jordy Smith, and you know, I've been best friends since we were like small, and our dad's good friends before, and his dad's always made boards for me. So we've always traveled, and you know, even though now he's like second in the world and he's like had the best movie parts and that, every time I go surf with him, I still compete with him, you know. Growing up surfing against each other, we competed, and I don't know, I beat him as much as he beat me, and then all of a sudden he got super crazy good. So I don't get to surf against him anymore, but if I did, I'd try harder to beat him than I would anyone else. You know, when something becomes a job, even something that you love, you know, the most in the world, you still get tired of it. And there never is really a break with surfing, especially with the tour, and it's kind of 12 months, you know, back-to-back events. There's like 30 events if you want to do the whole thing. So I was pretty tired of it last year, and I've been doing it for a while and had a couple of good results, and I tore my shoulder. So I decided to take a good break, and you know, I lost Billabong and Russ picked me up, and they're kind of just like, you don't have to compete so much anymore, you can go out and get photos, and you know, I'm way more excited on surfing this year than I was last year. But just to get paid to do something you enjoy is pretty awesome, and I'll do that as long as I can. Check out my website, www.doomersrumours.com, for what's been happening in the surf world, and thought I'd do about everyone and about surfing. And you know, since I've been doing it my whole life and I know everybody, I've got like that inside scoop. So you know, some of the stuff I put on there is just as a joke. Like I put Kelly Slater got married, he didn't really. But then other stuff, there's a lot of real stuff too. I just put a little twist on it. So it's about rumors and what's going on in the surf world.